Charles Robert Darwin changed the way we understand nature with ideas that, for his time, were truly revolutionary. He and his pioneering colleagues in the field of biology gave us insight into the extraordinary diversity of life on Earth and its origins, including our life as a species. Charles Darwin is known as one of the greatest British scientists who ever lived, but in his time, his radical theories brought him into conflict with members of the Church of England. Young Charles Darwin, born in 1809 in Shrewsbury, Shropshire, Darwin was fascinated by nature from a young age. Growing up, he avidly read nature books and spent his free time exploring the fields and forests around his home. Collecting plants and insects, in 1825 Darwin enrolled in medical school at the University of Edinburgh, where he witnessed surgery on a child. Surgery at that time was performed without the use of anesthesia or antiseptics, and deaths often occurred. Witnessing this procedure traumatized Darwin so much that he left his studies without completing the course. While in Edinburgh, Darwin also funded taxidermy lessons from John Edmonstone, a former slave from Guyana. The skills that Edmonstone taught Darwin became crucial only a few years later in his career. Once in Scotland, Darwin went to Cambridge University to study theology, the voyage of the HMS Beagle, in no rush to receive holy orders. In 1831 Darwin accepted an offer to embark on a 5-year voyage aboard the HMS Beagle. He was recommended by one of the Cambridge professors for the role of naturalist and companion to the ship's captain, Robert Fitzroy. This journey would change his life and the direction of Western scientific thought. Darwin explored remote areas and marveled at a world very different from the one he knew. He meets a bright blue-footed bird, a T-headed shark, and a giant turtle. During his travels Darwin collected plants, animals and fossils, and made many field notes. These collections and notes provided the evidence he needed to develop his extraordinary theory. Darwin returned to England in 1836. A highly methodical scholar, constantly collecting and observing, he spent years comparing and analyzing specimens before finally declaring that evolution occurred through the process of natural selection. What is the theory of natural selection? Until now, the theory of evolution by natural selection is accepted by the scientific community as the best explanation based on evidence regarding the diversity and complexity of life on Earth. This theory proposes that the fittest individual organisms, those whose characteristics best suit their environment, are more likely to survive and reproduce. They pass these desirable traits to their offspring. Gradually these traits become more common in a population, so the species changes over time. If the changes are large enough, they can produce new species. During his travels Darwin collected finches from many of the Galapagos Islands, off the coast of Ecuador, which helped him formulate his ideas. Some of these finches have strong beaks for eating seeds, while others are insect specialists. But Darwin realized that they all descended from a single ancestor. As they spread to different islands, the birds have adapted to eat a variety of available foods. Natural selection has produced 13 different species of finches. That's a brief review of the history of Charles Darwin.